Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. I hope you had a good weekend. And if you are around, come and let's talk about the topic we were talking last couple of days on true yoga, true benefits. You know, I think a lot of misconceptions, a lot of prejudice, a lot of um, unfortunately not using it, the yoga, right? Um, Whereas I am living the life of a yogi in the sense um, understood what is real yoga is and how you can have the yoga in your daily life um, for peace of mind, for lack of anxiety about anything, or just to be joyful and a lot of energy and uh, lot more sensitivity to other people's problems, any number of things, right? From morning till night, you could be. As a matter of fact, I was giving this to one of my cousins. She happened to be a single mother, and the kid was, just 8 or 9 years old at the time when I talked to her about her. Her approach to life and how she could use her own daily routine from morning getting up to going to the work and being at work and coming back to work, how she could incorporate kind of different types of yoga. They're not separate, actually, they're all together, but people uh, don't see that way, like they see it more like a religious activity, more like they have to have some setting for that to be in yoga and all that, right? So what I told her was she gets up in the morning and she kind of takes the train to work and walks and then comes back. That's her general routine. So what I told her was the morning routine can be like this. Uh, People in orange, they call them like a mission workers from Krishna or whatever, and they approach whatever they are doing in the morning with a sense of um, they are asked to do and they are doing it for the sake of their lord and all that. So uh, the people who get up in the morning because they wake up because that's a very good time to think clearly and to really start projects at a very high energy, right? So the time they get up is between 3:30 to 4:30, or um, like 45 minutes before their uh, sunrise at the time, right? If you do that, that's the time when the night is passing on to the dawn, the light, right? So that is considered to be very, very um, conducive time. Okay, they say auspicious, but if we can see that how quiet the entire place is and how many people are not really up, and so all that chattering minds have not woken up. So you have an ambience around you is a very, very quiet now. So if you get up in the morning and if you can really feel that kind of energy, it's very good for you. So you can start something like a writing uh, or listening to something or just to sit down and meditate or just motivate yourself, read a affirmation, any of those activities which are considered like a meal for the spirituality, that's very good time, right? So the other thing is how you approach. to whatever you going on in your life, especially something that you want to create, that you want to uh, really contribute, all that. Many of these uh, um, workers who have taken the renunciation and they were into the order of the Ramakrishna mission or something like that, they are never tired because they are not doing for something, or they are not doing it somebody else's command, but they are doing it because it's like a service to the human beings. They think the service to their spiritual or religious god, right? So in that way, they have no tiresome at all. And then once you get on the train, you take an attitude like all the luggage that all the burdens of life you carry thus far. But once you get on this train of spirituality, you leave it to the train to carry, right? And that's a very good example of really trusting the the higher power or the God or consciousness, whatever you want to, and then placing all your briefcase, suitcase, everything in there, and the train will carry that, right? So that's a very good example of surrendering, right? So you couldn't surrender and then give up all your burdens to the train. Then when you are in the office and then you look at all the people, you don't want to compete with them, or you don't want to belittle them, but you want to be with them and really identify them as part of the oneness you are part of. Okay, and that way there are no really enemies or competitors, but more like everybody is in your same energy, you know. And also you want to provide some service. That's what they do to everybody, and you will pay attention to everything that you do, and that's all yoga. And in yoga, if you are really in yoga, you kind of don't want to cling to things. You let things happen. You don't react emotionally, but you respond to whatever is happening with full attention. And after it is done, you don't cling to that anymore. You kind of drop it. That's what it is. Yoga teaching is uh, drop everything. Don't go on accumulating stuff from the past, but drop them, and that way your mind will be clear, right? And then you also do the work, but not for the sake of rewards, not for the sake of results, but more like it's a service that you are doing it. So when you're doing itself, you feel like that. And that is karma yoga, they call it, right? And you don't feel like you are doing it. You feel like some force above you is making you do these things. So you're destined to do, like. And then you also don't want to hold on to the results, but like kind of renounce them. That's what Gandhi said: renounce and enjoy. So he wants to engage in the work and do it very well for the excellence, but he doesn't want any of the results, and that's why he is renounced, but he enjoys working, right? That's a very important thing to understand. And then when you come home, you kind of reflect on whatever happened and then dump them, and really stay in that silence after everything is emptied your mind, and then you go to sleep. Okay, this is how I told her at the time how she can combine different kind of yogas. In the morning, it will be like a nano yoga. You are reflecting on the spiritual truths and then understanding and all that, right? And you kind of get on the train, and then you kind of surrender. That's like a bhakti yoga, devotional yoga. And first one is knowledge, second one is the devotional, and third one is you are doing stuff without claiming that I am doing it, or without looking for the results. That is a karma yoga, action yoga. And then when you come back at home, you want to cultivate the focus and concentration and understand what's going on within you, and then practice Raja Yoga, which is for the focus, right? these are the four yogas I told her to use in her life practically. So she has taken that a little bit, and she was able to do some of them sometimes every day. But then it made a little bit more less on her burden because she was not uh, indulging in the thoughts that are really negative or cyclical thought thinking, but she is always thinking about what I'm doing here in this moment. How can I pay attention to that kind of thing, right? So that helped her a lot. And other thing happened was one of my sister's daughter, she died at the age of 50 because of a heart problem. And my sister is around 82 now. So she had to go through that grief of her daughter dying, because she died of heart failure. Nobody could not do anything with her because she didn't present for checkup of that to the doctors before, right? But then I had to deal with my sister's grief because I wanted to provide relief for her. And also, the daughter who died at 50 years age, she has her own daughter at 18 years, right? And I had to help that girl, that kid, because she is really devastated because she died in her arms. So that was very difficult for her to get it out of her head. So I told her a simple thing that she could do every day. So first of all, I had to tell her how ancient Indian philosophy tells death is not really death, but it is like a beginning for the next life. Okay, so it's a transition thing, but a lot of people don't buy that. That's fine too. So because we don't know, we're just claiming, but we don't know whether this is true or not. That you take reincarnation law. But what I wanted to tell her was I wanted to steer her mind in a different direction where this cyclical thought, this heavy negative thought is a loss, and that's what people, grief for people really suffer some trauma to their brain. Okay, so especially if you are not expecting a death for somebody, and so that somebody passes away, and they are very close to you, usually the person who is close to, who is surviving, will have a damage of the brain because you take it so hard and it is very unbelievable, right? So in grief, we always try to help them not to suffer that kind of brain damage or damage to the thinking and all that. So what I did was very practical, and you could do that. I told her to remember this sentence and um, do that twice a day, just after getting up before the dawn comes, and also at the end of the day before she falls into sleep, right? What I told her was standing on the mantle of presence. That means you have to be present all the time. I give to the world with a smile. So whatever I give to the world, I give it with a smile. But the thing, essential thing is, I'm not getting it from the world. I'm giving it. So presence is one thing, and giving itself is the second thing. And third thing is you give it joyfully with a smile. Okay, don't expect something to see what do I see all the time transactional here. What I'm going to get in this stuff? How many people are going to like me? How many people are going to comment on me? How many people are going to bring me a business? How many people are going to make this monetize? And all this nonsense goes on here, right here and now, right? So without that, give with a spark. That is third. And third, fourth one, I told her, "Hey, I'm not going to think too much. And I am not going to depend on anybody for anything." Okay, these are the five principles are there in that sentence. The sentence is standing on the mantle of presence. I'm going to give with a smile. I will not overthink. I will not depend on anybody for anything. That's what I told her. But I told her to repeat this first thing she gets up every day. And then at the end of the day, when she's going to sleep, I told her to do that, and then do the deep breathing and all that. So many other things are there too. This girl caught the first principle. which is standing on the mantle of presence. So she was always checking, am I in the present? Is that what I'm thinking? Is it here? Why I'm really getting caught up with this cyclical thought and all that. And she was able to, she still missed her mom, and she was still having the sobbing and all that, but then she was able to get her back to presence of whatever she was doing. And she was, after 2 years, she was able to complete her masters in cyber security, and now she's very well. She's doing a job and all that, but she was never allowed to suffer the trauma to the brain from the acute grief reaction that her brain suffered. Okay, so that was a great success of mine, and I have done it with so many people with grief. But I want to tell them, take deep breaths, take be in the present, don't overthink and all that. But there many people have a brain that goes on reacting on its own, and they have problems. This girl is an 18-year-old, so she was able to implement them. Either she was able to give with a smile, not think too much, not depend on anybody. That maybe she has done variation. But one thing she caught up was, how can I be present, right? And she was not just remembering, not just uttering, but she was actually in the present, right? Uh, this is one of the yogic principle is leave alone things. Don't let them come with you. So, okay. So you check yourself every moment. Am I here and now? Am I accumulating other things and all? And that itself is very good. So we tell them, leave things, let them go. Don't cling on to things. That kind of thing. Okay, that's a very good way to be in the present, in the life, not in your thinking either past or future. You can think about past, you can learn things, but don't go and live that experience again. That's what the problem is. Many people emotionally react to something that happened a long time ago, and that there's no consequence, but they just unconsciously allow the reaction to go on. That's the one I was talking about. Don't do that. Okay, you can recall, you can understand, you can get the wise from wisdom from the experience and all. That's okay. But then permitting yourself or allowing yourself to be emotionally reacting to something that happened a long time ago. It could be your ex, it could be your current husband or whatever it is there, right? So these are the two cases I really made them be practical and use yoga and understand yoga deeper. But don't go and study at depth. That's not the idea. Start implementing whatever little that you have understood. And then, so suppose you understood, I feel very good after doing yoga, and I feel energetic. I don't have any uh, tension in the body. I don't have any pains in the body. That's good. Do that. Okay. You suppose you come and say you do yoga with me, I will make you do the long stretches and deep breathing too at the same time. Just doing those itself, you'll improve your physical health, and also your mind will be calming, right? That's fine. Just do that. You don't have to go and explore all the philosophy that was there, but then it will lead to that kind of interest to understand, that kind of practicality that you want to bring in. All that will be there. Okay. uh, so it's a kind of simple things, but you could do. Suppose I tell you, okay, you practice pranayama. Pranayama is a big word, and you may not be. I would say just be conscious of what you're breathing and how you are breathing. So you may want to say, I'm breathing shallow. Then you correct it by deep breathing. Simple things like suppose you stop behind the red light, in front of the red light, and then you just motivate yourself to deep breathe 3 times. So every time you stop at the, okay, you kind of clubbed it together, right? Clustered it together. That's my management of cluster technique is I'll associate things with the different things, then I'll be doing them, right? So that kind of just started. You stop in front of the red light, then you just sit down and take deep breath in, 7 count, hold it for 4 count, and let it go for 8 count. Okay, that kind of thing. If you do 8 times in the morning, 8 times in the evening, 8 times in the evening, very good results you see down the line. But you cannot do it once in a while when you feel it. But you have to do it daily for some time, for a long time, okay, for a prolonged time, right? Then you'll be able to really get the benefits of it. So and also, suppose you are uh, sitting in the chair, and then you have developed some neck pain or back pain. I tell people to do office yoga. It's basically focuses on your neck, on your lower back. Those stretches you can learn, and then you can do some of them at least while you are sitting in the chair, and that will help you a lot. Okay, so this is the practical way of doing things is what I wanted to present, and I also wanted people to ask me the questions. So I told you about my cousin who was integrating all those yogas. I told you about my cousin's daughter who lost her mother at a very young age, and that affirmation I told her. I will repeat that again for people who wants to know about it. It's like this: in the morning and at night time, just before you fall asleep, repeat this sentence, but mean it and observe that and implement that in life. The sentence is very simple: standing on the mantle of presence, I give with a smile. I will not overthink and I will not depend on anybody for anything. These 5 things: present and give with a smile, don't overthink, and don't expect anything from anybody. So this is what she did, but she got the present and she became very present from then onwards. And suppose she has this spell of sadness, she didn't deny it, she allowed it, but I taught her how to observe that. And she was able to get a lot of sympathy because she started to give. It could be just a smile, just a greeting, or some file bringing, or somebody so got some water or something, or share their problems, share their thing. So any number of areas which I do, I showed her to. So it's not like um, you will be not having people asking you for help, right? They may not even ask. They may have a situation where you want to appreciate that they're going through a difficult period, and you just offer help. Simple things. I call that uh, random act of kindness. Okay, any number of things will be there. If you can really grab those opportunities that you could do something for somebody. It doesn't have to be anything major, simple things. If you want to do major, that's fine too. So far as doctors, we get lot of occasions or opportunities during the day to help patients, to help the nurses, to help the other doctors, to help administrators. So many people we can help, right? If we really we want to. And also we volunteer into several committees as physicians. When we go there, there's all voluntary charitable work we do. Nobody pays us for anything, but we take active interest and leadership and contributory roles to, like I did volunteer in several committees. I was head of medical records. I was head of a library committee. I was in a pharmacotherapeutics committee, and I was on general, committees. in the sense they are all political, but then we were there just to help our needs of the hospital delivered. Public relations, I was there. I was to the getting our teams ready for drills, emergency drills. Suppose somebody had a bus accident, like 30 people are there injured. How do we get them? What's the field team going to be? Or how is it going? So we had those drills all the time. We did that. Um, Stroke awareness, that is not something I participated, and how to really save people from disasters. And so many committees are there. So we don't have to volunteer because some people think there's a headache for me. But then socially motivated people who are conscious, they are doing that. Okay. So random act of kindness, you can do that, all the time. And one of the yogic principle is you dump everything as it happens. That's, you don't cling on to it, you don't carry on. That's a very good principle that works for me because I don't have things to accumulate at all. Even if it is, I'm aware and able to drop it. So that's a yoga. If you are really in yoga, you don't let things accumulate unnecessarily, right? You need to remember, you need to understand, you need to carry with you the technical principles. They are fine, but your opinion about somebody, your concept about something, your judgment about something, all those things you don't have to, right? You kind of accept people as they are, things as they are, and be kind and be compassionate and let it go if they make a mistake and all that. You can always talk to them. You can tell them what the harm they will be doing to the department, to the institutional. I'm for that. That's not problem. But you can, the way you tell them, you don't make them feel belittled. You don't make them feel like they are insulted, anything like that. But if you are telling for a larger purpose, once they sense the bone in you that you are unselfish and you're trying to help them, they will cooperate. So you can bring these yoga principles in every act of life. It could be acquiring knowledge, that's the Gnana Yoga I described in the morning you do, and it could be action yoga, it could be surrendering yourself in the train, that's the example I told you, that's like a bhakti yoga, devotional yoga. Or you could come back home and then start meditation and focusing, that is the Raja Yoga, that is the focus yoga. And then when you sleep also you do certain things too. So you can, once you understand what does it mean yoga, how can you bring it to the daily life, it becomes effortless, it becomes natural. You don't have to adopt a religion, you don't adopt, that's actually, that's not it, it's a lifestyle thing. So I work with everybody. I'm not even conscious about what kind of religions they are coming from. I don't care, I don't really matter. Their belief is there, they can do whatever they want, but my job is to help the human being in front of me, not the his religion. It's up to him, whatever he wants he can do. So once you have that daily life inclusions of yoga, without you knowing, your energy will go up, your subjective feeling good, happy, being joyful will go up, and your stamina will go up, not only physical but also energy, and your heart will be better. Because if you, for example, I tell you, okay, go and stand on one leg, like I say, maybe you can take support of the chair, but you can try it even now. Stand on the right leg with all the foot completely clutching the ground, the toes, the soles, and also the heel, all of them clutching the ground. And you lift your left leg with the knees straight to the back, so that you're almost like a triangle. You put both your hands in front, but you're standing only on the right leg, and you may not be able to do without balance, without holding on something. Then hold on to something and um, just stand on the right leg and lift the left leg to the back, and stay like that for a few minutes, then you'll see your heart rate is fasting. That is the aerobic exercise, right? So I do what is called aerobic yoga exercises in the morning, and that is very simple steps, marching and stretching both legs and all that. There is a specific routine we go through. So it's a fallacy to think only yoga is simple stretching, and we can do that. We can do a uh, very relaxed and routine stretches that are very nourishing for you. But you can also have aerobic exercise that is a heart beating pretty fast with certain asanas and all that. Okay, so it's all a question of not having a prejudice in you about something that is not used to you. Okay, and that's where people are losing out, because they have the prejudice about, oh, this is coming from India. But several millions of people in America are really reaping the benefits of this. Okay, but unfortunately, a lot of people I met, are not really knowing the true yoga, are not really knowing what they are getting the benefit of it because they are doing something. But it's a much more you can elicit out of it. I'm glad I'm doing it at the level I do. So my age doesn't affect me, and I have not dipped in my energy. I have a lot of enjoyment while doing things, and I make a lot of friends because of that. And also, uh, your body and mind last longer because of that. So I'm glad I'm doing that. But I also have the pleasure of sharing. So that's where that affirmation I told you, give with a smile. So whatever you are doing, it is, I don't want to come into this American transactional way. Unless there is money, unless there is a selfishness for me, I don't do it. That I don't buy it. That I'm against for the because ancient India did not have this agency that I am doing it, did not have this results orientation. And these two are definitely inculcated in the West and brought into the Indian subcontinent. And now Indians are very selfish, very agency. They go, I'm doing the ego. And also, they are all for the like, just like Americans, they all want all these results and everything. They're pretty bad too. So I now say it's all over the world is like that. So the tragedy is some of the nobler instincts of the ancient wisdom was trampled by the Western short-sightedness about life. But there, I give credit for the Americans. Once they realize that, they reverse that in their life as much as they can. And they don't pretend. They just tell you what they can do, what they cannot do, what they can understand, what they can. So for me, many of the Americans are open that way. But this selfishness, this transactional thing is really bad in so many ways. Okay, you can be a human being, can be simple, you can be thinking very highly inside, and you can really have you know ananda, that is bliss and happiness, without earning any money, anything like that. You can be kind, you can be compassionate, you can be loving to somebody without expecting anything in return. Okay, so I wanted to help my young girl, that cousin of mine who lost her mother, to be understanding and to be giving and to be smiling while you're giving, and also not to think too much and not expect anything from anybody. She caught only one, as I told you. She began to be in the present. That means, suppose you are remembering, her problem was her mother died in her arms. So that scene was going in her mind over and over again. And the more she continues that, the more it's going to establish in her brain. So that's why I wanted actively for her to think something else, especially in the morning when she gets up, and also in the evening. So when you get up in the morning and you have all these memories coming up, you just nullify them by being affirmative about something. That cyclical thought will not form. That's the idea about it. This is called Vasanakshaya in Sanskrit. And then also Pratipaksha Bhavana. That means you are going to inculcate opposite what negativity you are. So you bring in deliberate positivity into your negative thinking, thereby you change that negativity into positivity. Okay. So there are so many yogic principles involved on every step of our daily life. Okay. But if you understand what is yoga, how to be in that yoga, that means basically be in the life, be here and now. And that means don't accumulate, don't cling on to things, and also dump them if you can. Every time you something comes, it is not here now, it is only in my memory, dump it if it's not needed. Okay. But don't be in this absent-minded, unconscious, letting things come into your mind on their own. That is what I'm talking about. Okay. So the other question that I had was uh, this big terms, big meaningful thing and all that, are they be difficult? No. You can look at like this. If I am congruent with myself, with my knowledge, understanding, my personality, and my aspirations, if they all are together in within one thing, and then you are really in yoga, right? Then you can manage your faculties of mind, brain, body, and body's energy and all. So I will give you an analogy of horse driven carriage and how this is compared to yogic way of looking at our human personality, not a mental personality, but generally. What we have a body, bones and muscles and blood and all, right? And we have these senses, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, all this, right? And then we have this energy within our body, which we make it and which we use it and which we deplete it, right? That is there. And we have our thoughts, feelings, and all those things. Right? And then we have this understanding about things, right? And that's all. So they kind of said there were five things in yogic personality. Is first one is called Annamaya Kosha. Annam means food. So it is made up of food, our physical body, our actual body, muscles, bones, and all that. Okay, nerves and everything, physical body. That's one thing. And then through that body, we kind of breathe air and we make energy, and with energy we do things, right? So that's called pranamaya kosha. That is using the energy, but it has the energy body itself has to be understood, has to be built and replenished, and also stop depleting it unnecessarily. Then you will be in good energy and doing things, right? There is a way to be negative about things and then deplete ourselves completely. So physical body and energy body. And then third one is made up of the all the thoughts, all the memories, all the future aspirations. So whatever that you think, you feel, that is the Manomaya Kosha, they call it. First one is Annamaya Kosha, second one is Pranamaya Kosha, third one is Manomaya Kosha. Okay, and then out of all that thoughts and experiences and all that, you gain understanding of what is world, what is life, what is relationship, what is God, what all those understandings that you have, that is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, and this is all four things have come now, right? And the fifth one is called Anandamaya Kosha. That's a blissful body. When all your other faculties are in coordination, in harmony, you develop that, and then as a human being, you have that inside. And once you remove your ego, personalities, and all that, then you release that unalloyed joy. That's the beauty about ancient wisdom, is to turn inward and discover that joy that's already there. And that joy reflects as pleasure in anything. But then this is completely in there. Once you tap that abundance, then you know what's the real human life meaning is. Okay. So this is the way to understand. So now you take the chariot, horse-driven chariot. So what it has a physical body of the chariot. That's like our Annamaya equation, right? And then it has 5 or 6 or whatever horses are there, 5 horses usually, and they are the senses. So you don't want to let the senses go wherever they want. That you want to control them. How do you control them? The reins, and those reins is the mind. It want to control with that, and then the harsher senses, and the reins um, are the thoughts, right? And mind. And then who controls the mind? The driver. The driver is the buddhi. That is the intellect. That is the discriminatory capacity of ours, right? And then he is driving a passenger, and that passenger is your real inner true nature. People may call it soul, people may call it consciousness, people may call it God, people may call it love, whatever. But that is the inner you self, yourself, right? And then, so yourself has a body, has a mind, has sensations, has a understanding, and also some blissfulness too. And then once you understood that, then you want to see the goal of the passenger. What is the destination is going? Where I should be living? And that goal is found by your inner values, so inner understandings, and all that. In yoga, it's like your inner self, which is part of the higher self or the universal self, want to go and mix there. Like all the rivers are going and mixing in the sea, there's all the jivatmas, they call it. That means our own inner self, beyond the body, beyond the mind, right? And that is the one which is going to go and settle down in what it came from. Okay. So yoga is to be in that union, yoke, uniting the jivatma to paramatma. That is local, individual, conscious being mixing with universal consciousness, universal awareness. Once you are aware that I am part of that already, then you are in yoga. That is the true yoga, and then you strive to be in that yoga. Okay, so I think I came to a point where some of the practical questions that I was posed to me, I was able to help them and get their life from the problem of developing this negative thing to something that happened to them, to how to use yoga to eliminate that negativity and go towards the positivity and improve their life and handle. There's a kind of capacity to deal with the challenges of life. That's what it does very well. Don't separate this like, I'm going to do this for half an hour and that's it. No, you got to seep it through all activities of your life. Okay, so anybody has any questions, they can come up and I will answer them. Otherwise, I'll be closing this room in a couple of minutes. So land like that with the orientation of, not with the orientation of I'm going to sell this to somebody and make money, or something like I'm going to use this to get something out of it. Now, understand and see how I can employ this in my life, and thereby I can really live fully. I can really live happily and contribute to the other people's lives too. So with that, I will be leaving now, and I will see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.